Welcome back to one of the automotive channels in all of YouTube. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, and the only reason I know that is because I already filmed the first half last week. It's going to be a 2 weekend long episode this time, and this is all going to be about the roof. We are finally addressing everything on the roof, almost. There's going to be still some welding and everything to do, but we're finally going to start doing the paint. And I've decided to extend the job a little bit. I am also going to be prepping these corners. These are the only corners of the car that have not been converted from hearse form. Still got the black crinkle coat. You can still see the rusty form of where the Landau bar used to be. We're going to get rid of that. I bought some black paint as well, and we're going to go ahead and black over that. Some real shiny black Rust-Oleum paint. But we're going to go ahead and prep all this down, paint it with some real nice, clean Rust Reformer primer, and then some Rust-Oleum white turbo cans again. It's a little cold right now, and it was too cold last weekend. So let's jump back to last weekend where I did all the prep work from the headliner to drilling holes for these bad boys and doing some wiring in the roof. Okay, I'm in the back of the car now. I did a little bit of wiring up front, but I realized I don't have enough switches. I need one more switch in order to do the wiring properly. So I'm only gonna get like halfway done on doing it the right way today. But, and I also need to get some sheet metal screws. But I'm back here, and I had a thought last week that I could just pop these out with this tool. And as you can see, I've now gotten 2 of these little screws out. So I think that's gonna be my method. I don't think I'm gonna go all the way forward as much as I know I need to for the main roof rack supports. The less I take off right now, I feel the better it'll be. All right, I've gotten enough off now to get the first bow off. So it's just attached with those Phillips heads right there, I believe. It just kind of slides in. And then once that falls, there's probably going to be a lot of junk up in there. Like I'm feeling a jump scare coming on. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that falls in it. Not that bad. I thought there'd be a lot of crap up in here. But yeah, I can see all the spots where the guy before me drilled, and you know, ever since then it's just been ruining the roof because he had a roof rack on, and why? I don't know. Oh yeah, that's not that bad, but it's still a little bit of junk. So it's all this protective crap that goes over the under the roof just to be like a rust prevention. they must have not really been applied very well because it's chipping off in giant pieces. So I'm gonna have to sand the bottom of the roof as well as the top, but when? I don't know. All right, so yeah, today I'm really not doing one specific thing. I'm kind of just doing a lot of small things. Moved the seat forward, cleaned the back out, got the back part of the headliner off. It's just a lot of work, so I'm not going to take the whole thing off yet, but that's enough to cut the holes for the back spotlights. And I also need to move these two in, and since I don't know how to weld, just for now, I'm going to put some tape over that, but I mean, look, it's the ECTO-1. What do you expect? I mean, do you expect it to be perfect and pristine? So I need to move these in a little bit just because I got the measurements off, so just moving them in 2 inches, and then going to the back. I've got the holes set up for the spotlights, and then once that's in, I'm gonna make sure 100% that I've got the exact placement for the light bars, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mount those too, because I can take them off later, but I just want to see if I can get them mounted, because that would be pretty cool, because then I can start with the wiring, and that would be really nice. Much better. That literally took like 30 seconds, and I've been wanting to do that for almost a year now. I think I did the fronts in like March maybe. So yeah, it's been almost a year since I've drilled the front and then just never did the back two. But I mean, the whole thing was I needed to wait for the headliner to go down because I didn't want that to straight through the headliner. That would kind of suck. All right, we now have all four holes, and since the roof still looks like crap, I might try tomorrow. If not, it'll just be next weekend. But since the roof still looks like crap, I'll just kind of temporarily set them up in there, and I might go ahead and just start wiring. I don't know. I don't think I have the right connections for those. I need some that are female and male, and I do not. I only have loops. Oh well, let's get to it. Very nice. What now? See, these are the ones that kind of turned out a little bad. I'd either redo them or just get new bulbs. I don't know. They're just a little not good. But I think they're good enough for now. And no, before you ask, it's not going to be wired properly. Just because if you look at these, I'll show you. It's got these little ends, and what I really want is a male there and a female here, like these. You see that one? I need those, and I just didn't bring them. So I guess I'll buy a set of those too for this wire. And if anyone's wondering what I'm using for all the lights and siren and everything, I'm using 16 gauge wire, just plain red and black, and I'm just gonna run the same through here. If I can fish it up through there, then I might run it through there, and if I can't, I might just run it down through the floor, just for now, just for the next couple weeks until I get the whole headliner down, because I also need to get the whole headliner down so I can get the what is it, the roof rack supports. I need to be able to make those, so the whole headliner's got to go out at some point anyways, but I don't want to right now because that's hard. All right, I've been busy, so here's what I've got right now for the temporary setup. This is what I believe you're supposed to wire up the flasher like. That's what it said. It said the L goes to the left and the P goes to the right, and then the X is power. That is this. So if you kind of follow what I'm doing, believe me, it's not that complicated. It just looks complicated. I've got a main power switch that's a little bit more heavy duty to go to everything, and that's just to turn off the speaker and everything. And I wired that second one in like I said I would last time, just so the ECTO-1 siren could power down like it powers up instead of just shutting straight off. So that's what that is, just going straight to the tone. But I've wired in this second one in my hand, and I'm going to touch it to the X and see if I can get the tops to flash. My stupid wiring actually works. That's incredible. All right, so after reviewing the footage, I have found out that these flashers, the left goes and then the right goes, not both of them at the same time. It's this one, then this one, then this one. And I need them both at the same time. So my fix is going to be wiring them both in to the left. There's like the setup. I'm going to do both of them wired to the left on the back of the switch, and then the back is going to be the right. If that's confusing, it's because it is. Alright, my phone died, so I did some more work off camera. I put some OEM Cadillac paint matched Gorilla white tape just to cover up the old bolt holes. Wiring is still a mess, but it makes sense to me. Just gonna wait until I have the whole headliner out and have the back lights wired up to finish that. But I mean, for now, the more exposed it is, the more I'll be able to see a problem, like if it bursts into flames. So just gonna leave it for a little while. I did take the A-pillar cover off, like this one right there, just because I know I'm gonna have to run the wire up here at some point. That'll be what I end up doing in the future. Also, apparently, I thought that I guess I did do this right, but it's weird because I don't have a ground wire going to the source. I think those lights ground themselves out because it just runs. The only thing going up to that circuit up there is power. There's no ground connecting up there. All the lights and the flasher are just grounded to each other. So I don't know, but I guess it works. So before I lose my motivation, I'm gonna go ahead and at least mount the front light bar, if not both of them, just because I'd love to get a rolling shot of the siren and all the lights on the front working. So from all the pictures I see, it looks like this is supposed to be right in the middle of these 2 points, not in the middle of the door. It's supposed to be right in the middle of the beginning and the back of the windshield part of or window part of the door. I'm just going to take a measurement, make sure it's exactly right on both sides, and then go ahead and mark and drill. Alright, I've got the holes drilled. Wait, did I forget to do the other side? Yes, I did. I forgot to do the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the other two, and then I only found 2 bolts and nuts that could work for this, just because I had a full set, brand new, from a hardware store, ready to go on this, because that's what those little bolts are. But I think that they're somewhere else. So we're going to have to just make do with these, and then maybe I'll find some later, or I'll just buy more again, whatever. Quit trying to fall off. Sucker. Alright. Cool. Right on. Let's go do a drive-by. Okay, it's day 2. I've bought some more little connectors and one more switch, so now we are good to go with actually getting it done the right way. I also bought some tape. I'm pretty sure I have everything except for sheet metal screws, and there's sheet metal screws I still need to get. There's little clip things I need to get to actually just bunch all the wire up and like attach it to like a permanent place so it's not dangling. And then I also need a connector for this wire because I'm not sure what gauge it is. I'm gonna run this light bar for like a couple minutes, just make sure nothing burns up or anything before I start changing all the wiring, because that should be working. But I need a good connector for this size wire because it's really big and I don't want to mess anything up. It's going to a 16 gauge wire. I might even buy this next weekend. I might buy a 10 gauge wire and do this the right way with some 10. Just wire's kind of expensive, but I don't want to cheap out on that. I'm gonna see if the 16's enough. Well, I'm glad I decided to test the car for a couple minutes. I started it up and it started up fine, actually idled, kept temperature just because it's not, 20 degrees outside right now. But I started it up and I turned all those on, and I left the siren on, but I pulled the speaker wire out. That one, yeah. So I pulled it out just so I could let it run for a couple minutes and test. I'm glad I did because everything works. But I burned out that switch where it's like stuck on right now. And you see how limp that is? Something broke inside of this where it like blew. I blew it, and also this is really hot. And that is the main power from the battery. Oh, that's why. Looks like some of the wires are pulled out of it. So I'm gonna have to redo that connection anyways. But I think I might need to go ahead and get some thicker wire that goes straight from the battery. No, this isn't from the main switch. The main switch is down there, but that's something also I need to do. But this switch is just kind of overpowered right now just because it's powering the speaker, it's powering the lights up top, and it's powering the light bars up top. So too much going on, which it was already too much, but really the only thing I'm taking off of that circuit is going to be the siren. So the siren only takes like, I think it's at 15 amps. Either way, I need to find a real heavy duty toggle switch for the top lights because I don't want that to happen again. But I did buy a replacement 20 amp. I'm going to replace it with that. But just for today, I'm not going to wire the top lights into this just because I want it to be done the right way. So right now I'm just going to permanently wire in the siren, and I'm going to leave the wires out that are going to that switch, and then I'll put that in next time once I find a one, that's heavy enough duty, strong enough for the all the lights up top. They draw way too much power. And here, since I'm not time-lapsing all this electrical work, I'll just show you the difference. So this is what I was doing just yesterday, just kind of like rip that off. Just kind of tying them together just for a proof of concept. And now that I know what works and what doesn't, I'm going back in and I'm using 1/4 inch just snapped. It was like a male and female, and they just snap together, crimping the shit out of them, and then electrical taping all of them so they're gonna be completely weather tight and hopefully last for another 60 years. All right, top is looking very nice. Everything's all tucked right up here. Everything's, all the connections are all right, so the top is done. And the good thing is, when I need to take these off, farts, it won't be that easy actually. Oh yeah, no, it will, because I'll just have to undo that connection and then it'll slip right out. So really cool. Yeah, everything's just able to disconnect and be removed quickly, which is cool. As long as there's not a headliner here, it's actually really easy to work on. And now to do all of this. Well, here's where we're at for the end of this weekend. A lot better. So all these are wired up the way they're supposed to be. I don't know if they work in this current setup just because I haven't tried, but there's no reason they shouldn't. I don't have a power ran up to it right now. That is because I'm going to go ahead and run thicker wires to the lights up on the top and get a bigger switch for the lights on the top. And I went ahead and got this wire fished through the dash. It's going to run up this pillar and be real hidden and tucked away, which is going to be really nice. Just going to go up there, through here, hit that, and then run back here. And then it'll also run through somewhere up here, probably down here to be a little more ECTO-1 accurate. And then connect to the light bars. That's going to have to be a thick wire as well. I'm thinking maybe like a 10 gauge or an 8 gauge, something like that. I don't know. Something expensive, I'm sure. But yeah, all the wires are tucked away down here real nice. Went ahead and put the Phoenix right on top of the engine control just for now. It's not a huge deal. It's just kind of sitting. I've seen plenty of people with the harness and everything just sitting in their engine bay. So if they can get away with that, I can get away with this. Not a huge deal. The only thing hanging is the ignition, just because I've been having a lot of trouble trying to get that in there. I don't know. There's something I'm missing. If anyone can tell me if there's anything I'm missing, I know that I've got this twisty piece and then this, but they don't really tighten, and then the whole thing turns and you can't turn the car on. But other than that, everything's all cleaned up. Next weekend, when I get more wire, then I'll actually run some heavy duty wire up here, and then we'll be able to test it out with the front and back. But honestly, it's more important to me to get the car painted, so I might go ahead and paint before that. I don't know. And now we're back to current day. This is going to be the part where we actually start tearing down the roof. Going to get rid of these lights for now, take them back off again, and then we're going to sand all of this down all the way to the front. We're going to prime it, we're going to do everything, and then if we have some time, I also bought some stuff to prep the floor in here. That might happen, or it might happen next week. I don't know. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just remove the lights just for this job, and then just put them back in. They're really easy. You just kind of thread that in. Not a big deal. Like I mentioned, I've got this floor kind of rusty, but it's not through rust. It's just kind of surface rust. I have the same, sanding pads that I'm going to use for the roof. If I have time, I'm going to sand that all down, and I've got some paint, some primer, and some sound deadening rubberized coating for like a chassis, and I'm going to see if that can go in there, because that would look really, really nice. But let's go ahead and get these down. I think it might just be hand loose. No, it's not. Farts. Well, I guess this isn't going back on unless I find another screw to go in there. Bummer. I think that one's broken too. Come on. Ah, farts. I thought that would come off with it. What the hell is this anyway? Is that like, looks like gold or something? I don't think it really is though. That'd be cool if it is. That's cool. Let's see, how does this come off now? I don't want to break it. What if someone wants it? Looks like Band-Aid. There's nothing attaching it. I guess it's just stuck up there. Darn. I didn't want to mess with that. Maybe I put the piece back on? Honestly, maybe? I could. I lied. But now you can actually see probably the nicest, cleanest part of the car right there. So, for anyone wondering what an unmolested hearse would look like on the inside, this is the red primer from the factory. It's like perfectly brand new, untouched, never even seen sunlight. And then this is the black crinkle coat. Perfect, never even seen sunlight. This is what it looks like after, a couple of decades, but here it's still got that real nice shine, real nice and black, kind of looks like a nut sack, but that's okay. Well, that's gonna go bye-bye now anyways. Well, I got the one off and I got some of those screws out, but these two are fighting me pretty bad. So I'm gonna go back to this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and start standing. Alright, status report. I've got the side how I want it, real smooth. A lot of the black remains, but it's okay because the more paint you leave, the better. You can see a lot of these areas where the welds were. So this is going to be exactly where I cut in the future in order to get the line on in order to cut to get the glass in. So that's going to be exactly where I have to cut later, which is kind of cool, but I'm going to be hiding it anyways. So I might do something. I think it'll show up again when I sand the black off next time, so it's not a huge deal, but that's cool. So it'll help me cut, be a good guide to cut next time. Right now I'm just going to show you so you can see I'm not going to rip all of the white off up here. What I'm going to do is just sand the crinkle out. So you can see down here, like I said, a lot of the black remains. And here, when I rub my finger over it, it's really smooth. And mind you, I'm going to be doing primer over this anyways. But here, I don't know if you can hear it really. Yeah, you can. It's a lot rougher just because this is exactly what the paint looked like before, right here. Just kind of wrinkles with white over it. But over here, my finger just kind of glides over it because I've been going over it with the 1680 grit. I'm almost out of 60 grit already. I only have one piece left, so that's gonna really suck. I might see if I can go into town and find some 60 or maybe even some 40 grit. That'd be kind of cool. But I'm going to see how far I can get while it's cold, and when it warms up, we can start laying down some primer and paint. Alright, I'm glad I didn't time-lapse that because it would have destroyed every last little bit of storage space in my phone. That was every bit of 4 or 5 hours. It's now 12:30. I started at like 9. Oh, so that's 3.5. It's not so bad, but still. Everything is sanded down smooth. Now I can rub my hand over everything and not feel any hard spots. My hand doesn't get caught on anything. You'll see it looks like I've missed a lot of it, but it's very smooth, and that is because the Rust-Oleum paint actually acted like a primer, and it has filled all the low spots, so this is perfectly level height. Also, all of this is now smooth. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start the car up. Let's go ahead and wash the car off. I'll have to be kind of careful because there's a lot of holes on the roof, thanks to the guy that owned it before me. Only a few of those are mine. But you're gonna go ahead and wash the roof off. Go ahead and wash the whole car off, I guess. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get everything off the top, and then once it dries, we'll go ahead and tape it up and primer all of this. It's impossible to ever turn in this vehicle. This vehicle is way too big for streets. I don't know how this was ever street legal. It's astounding how hard it is to drive it. Just imagine if the carburetor was fighting it too, or if you didn't have power steering, something like that. Well, before anyone gets mad at me for doing a crappy job, I'm not trying to wash the car. In fact, I want it to be as dirty as possible for, you know, whatever show I take it to. But I was just trying to make sure to get all the crap off of this. I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with a towel now that I've got most of it off. And then once it dries, we'll go ahead and just lay some primer down. All right, I'm just gonna do a transition just to save time because my phone's running low on storage. So it's gonna be taped up right now. Man, that took an hour. You can probably tell by the amount of sunlight change. And also, pretty windy. You can kind of see the wind tunnel I'm painting in. Will I be able to do it? I don't know. Let's throw a little bit of primer down in the center and just see if there's anything. Oh, I see I gotta tape that up. Okay, let's tape that and then prime. Well, it seems the red primer, it doesn't want to work, and I need that for the rusty areas. So I guess I'll go ahead and do normal primer for the side, just to get something down. Well, that's the end of that. Half of it's on the damn can, another quarter of it's on my hands, and then a quarter of it made it onto the top of the car. I mean, yes, it does look smooth now, but I ran out, and that, I can't believe that wouldn't even cover the roof and the sides. I mean, maybe if I didn't have to paint the windows too, maybe I could have gotten it further, but I mean, that's just, I guess it's just that much more incentive to try to get that red can working. If not, I do have a can of red primer, like a small can, that I can use. Well, the sun's going down kind of quick. I won't have enough time to lay down both sides, but I'm going to lay down this side and see how it looks. We'll have to sand. Yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. I mean, that's just the worst. I mean, I can see myself, but that's shit. We'll see if we can maybe wet sand that out later, but all that's telling me is that I'm gonna need to spend some time sanding the primer on the other side just so I get a little better finish, because that is awful. Well, I was just about to give up for the day and go down to the store and get some more rust preventative primer for the top, but I remembered I have this. Now, I haven't tried it yet. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's shit or not, but it says that if you basically drench a bunch of heavy-duty towels, hand towels, in this and let it sit for 1 to 12 hours on the rusted surface, you can be in business. So let's give it a shot, actually. All right, it is now the next day. Let's see how that rust reformer did. Is that sturdy? I guess so. All right, so what I'm looking for, I have no idea what I'm looking for. I guess just no rust? Is that what I need or is it not? I don't know. I be honest with you, I just cannot tell. Get that off. Get out of there. Well, you guys tell me if that looks better or not. I don't know. Maybe if I go back and look at the pictures from yesterday, that'll help. But all I know is that stuff was supposed to just keep it from, it just turns it back into paintable metal. So if it's red, I'm not sure what I'm looking at just because they used red primer, unfortunately. So I can't tell if it's rust or, you know, red primer. So we're going to do the right thing and wipe all that off. And then while it's drying, go ahead and sand and prep this side for some good black. And I'm going to see if I can cut that that drip out. I'll show you. Got a little bit of pieces on it, but that's fine. It's got a nice finish, but I got to get rid of that. So maybe I can sand it out. We'll see. It looks awful right now. That's not going to work. Alright, I've got this side wet sanded and cleaned. Is it perfect? No, but I think it's a lot better than before. And I got rid of this, so now it's barely nothing. I don't think it'll show up once I do another coat. So just wipe all that crap off. So while it's drying, I also wet sanded this side and dried it. Got it real nice and I made it dirty. Sorry. But get off of there, bug. Can't even focus. There you are, bug. Goodbye. So I got that all sanded smooth, smoother. So hopefully this side won't show up as bad. Go ahead and prime the top, and then I was just about to start covering up the black sides in order to start painting the top. But I just realized I probably shouldn't do that, or I don't need to, just because I'm running low on tape. And it's gonna be, you know, black gonna be over the white anyway, so I'm just gonna spray the white now and then I'll mask for the black. This time, we're going to be patient and slow. A lot of stages of paint, not just blowing it all out at one time. And that's what messed us up last time. Alright, I'm mostly done. I have to get one more stupid can of Rust-Oleum Turbo. It actually lays down a lot. I was worried about it laying down well because it was streaking really bad. But it's laying down pretty uniform. You can see over here it's a little thin. You can kind of see the, I don't think you can, my camera quality sucks. But you can see that it's not perfect. I just need a little bit more paint to finish up the top. Yeah, I was worried because there was a lot of streaks. Oh, I almost tripped. Like you can kind of see this one, but I think it'll go away with a little more paint. Yeah, you can see that one. But I think it'll go away. I just need one last can of Rust-Oleum primer or Rust-Oleum white paint, And then I am never ever buying any more of that stupid shit again. I mean, look at my hands. This happens every time I use it. It's not because of the cold weather, because it's warm now. It's not because, I mean, I don't think it's user error because it's the only cans that do that to me. It's the Rust-Oleum turbos. So I think they really need to redesign that. But anyways, we're just gonna have to finish up this last little bald spot and then do a coat across the whole car. And maybe while I'm waiting, like when I get back and it's dry, I think I might wet sand it a little bit, get rid of some of those streaks, and do one last good white coat. So it'll be really nice and solid. And then we'll go ahead and start on the black and then the red stripe, and then we're almost fucking done. Well, while I wait on the white to dry before I can wet sand and do the last coat, I've got this marked off. So let's go ahead and get this other red stripe on. Finally, after over 12 months. Finally time. All right, here's where we're at right now. I was able to get the roof finally completed to a point where I'm happy with it. I think the paint coat is thick enough and smooth enough for what we're doing here. Oh, get that off of there. I was just about to talk about how nice the red's turning out, but now the plastic's starting to move around. Anyways, red's on. I'll have to wet sand it. Once it's fully dry, it's still tacky. I need to wet sand it a little bit, fix this area, and I think we'll be good. But then I still have to do the black on both sides, and that's the current challenge because I'm running out of time. So, geez, I really think I'm gonna have to do 3 whole separate weekends just for this one job. That's how big of a project it's been. But I mean, it's looking nicer than it ever has. It now has both red stripes. The roof is completely white. And once I get that black done for the windows, we'll be done. That's the only thing left. All right, looking pretty good. The sun is back out. Man, you can really see those couple dents that have been on it since before I got it. You see those really good in the paint now, which is great. This is really cool. So that sucks. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and tape this side off and get ready to paint the black. I'm gonna spray it just because we're getting some sunlight out. The white's getting pretty good, but unfortunately the red is still tacky. Oh, where did you come from? Ah, come on, get out of there. Farts. Well, yeah, like I said, the red's still tacky, so kind of don't know what to do with that. That means we can't really do anything with this side, but I can at least get that part done, which would be pretty nice, because we don't need to do anything with this side for that. So let me go tape that up. Right now, I changed my mind again. I'm just gonna see if I can run a strip of the aluminum paint. Just see if that lays down good. Okay, that doesn't look half bad. It actually matches the tone real. What the fuck happened there? I have no idea what happened there. I think it's... Wait, is this... This isn't textured paint, is it? No. Well, I was just about to start complimenting my work on this, but it's starting to, you know, look like a dry creek bed, so I guess it didn't turn out as good as I thought. But hey, you know, it's good enough. Like I said, I'll just knock that. Just like everything else, I'm going to knock that with a sanding sponge as soon as it's dry. But I'll go ahead and get this paint peeled off, or the painter tape peeled off. Well, I'm going to leave that one. Alright, so now I've turned the car a bit so the sun can touch this. I realized that it hasn't been seeing any sunlight all day, just due to the position of the car. So I turned it a bit. So let's just see if I can get it dry. And then when I come back, I'll just, you know, finish up the black. Okay. It is now week 3. I don't know how it's taken this long. Technically it's week 4 because it was so cold last week and I didn't even bother coming up. So week 4, going on a 1-month roof paint job. So that's just what it is when you're working full time. You have to do this on the weekends. But enough about complaining about me. Everything on this looks pretty good, honestly. I was kind of more worried about the finish before, but it seems like it's done its self-leveling magic just like it did on the side. And it actually turned out pretty nice with the little amount of prep work I did. I really don't have any complaints with the top. The only thing I am worried about is I still need to go touch up the other red stripe just because there's one spot that's bad. And then I got to do some work on this. I'm also not sure how much painter's tape I have. I think I might be running low, so don't be surprised if I start using electrical tape. But it's still really windy. Temperature's still kind of low. Today, we're just going to do prep work and then do a little bit of wiring or rewiring because the way I was doing it before really sucks. So the wet sanding we have to do is to try to get some of these off just because these are pieces of paint that were coming off when the paint was so curing because this crap was just whipping, thwapping around and sticking to it. So I'm gonna have to wet sand a little bit of that and a little bit up here, but I don't think it's gonna come out bad at all. And then just do a little bit of wet sanding on this, make sure it's super smooth. And this is the only area of red I really have to worry about. All this turned out pretty good. It's just this little area that turned out bad. It's not really come up. Yeah, it is coming up. Yeah, I gotta do something about that. The rest of this turned out pretty good though. Not that worried about it. We can see I was able to do some prep work, a little bit more wet sanding. Got this really smooth. You can see some of the old, man, it's fuzzy. There you go. You can see some of the old black coming through. But that just means that the primer actually did lay pretty evenly. Those are the only kind of areas. I mean, this was also made by hand, so there are some high centered spots. But main thing over here, I was able to sand this down pretty darn smooth, and it doesn't look much worse than this area. So reason this kind of cracked apart is because it's too much material and not enough prep work, not enough primer, didn't have enough time to grab. So this was just poor prep work on my part, and the same thing over here. So I'm gonna go ahead, what I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna tape off the top and I'm gonna run that chrome on both sides, and then I'm gonna leave just some slack on the top. So I'll only have to pull the tape off and tape it off here again. So that'll mean that we're good to go, and I won't have to redo the roof part. But we'll go ahead and cover that up. That'll be one solid sheet going all the way across. And I also did this, I was able to knock a good amount of that off, got it really smooth. And you can see pieces like this. This is what I was talking about, where pieces would just stick on and they just got welded into the paint. This was the one spot that was kind of bad. I'm starting to think that I might be able to save it. I might do a little bit more wet sanding, but you can see I'm already kind of running through the red over here. This was kind of thin, so it's starting to go white again. So I'm gonna wet sand this a little bit more, and then without, avoid this area. You can see it kind of turns out pretty nice. I know I need to put more red over it just because you can see, maybe you can. My camera's not really good. You can see the scratch marks and scuff marks that would need to get polished out pretty hard, which I don't care about as much as the orange peel here. I don't mind this orange peel one bit. I do, however, mind those streaks and scuffs and horrible prep work. I'm leaving stuff like this just because that's what the car looked like before. The original steel is just kind of turning back into tree bark underneath. I don't think this is rust anymore. Hell, this little part might be, but fuck it, who cares? This whole quarter panel is coming off anyways. All this is pretty okay. I want to touch that up just a little bit, but we're just going to start with the chrome and the white, and then once those are done, we can lay the black down, and then we're hopefully done. Once that's done, we'll be able to reinstall all the roof lights and all that stupid work. Man, this is hard. I should have just built an Impala or something first. So, should just lay down pretty good. Yeah, I think that'll fix it. I'm sure that the prep work will, start to show its age soon anyways, but this is only supposed to last a few years, so let's just send it. Yeah, looks pretty nice. This side's gonna be kind of a pain just because it's on the shady side, so it's not gonna dry as fast, which is gonna kind of mess me up a little bit. Let's just throw a little bit down, see how it lays. Pretty nice. And this time I'm gonna do the smart thing and be slow and easy with it, because I don't want to do all that dripping like the last one was doing. You see, it's already kind of doing it. I know it'll go away once there's more thick paint, but right now I really want to avoid that. So I'll do a couple thin coats like that right there. Then we'll go in and add more later. Parts, I just oversprayed. Oh well, not a huge deal. Well, that is really starting to look like something. That little cheap Rust-Oleum aluminum spray paint is ending up being the hero of this entire process. I mean, look, all right. When you're right up close, it looks like shit. Okay, that being said, from this to this, really not that bad of a match at all for what we're trying to do for the ECTO-1 of all. I mean, after all, this is not one of those six-figure ECTO-1 replicas. This is a guy in his 20s just trying to build something on the weekends. That being said, this kicks ass. I laid down all of the fake trim. I don't know what we're gonna call that. I'm gonna have to do some wet sanding, because I found that the runs, you can fix them by wet sanding and then just going over it again. So that's what we're gonna do in the morning, but we're losing sunlight, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wait till the morning. Good morning. It is now tomorrow, and I wanted to do this off camera to see if I get it to work, and you guys will be happy to know that I have now gotten all the screws off to take this other panel off. I was really worried that I was gonna have to leave this side and just have the other side off. My OCD was killing me, so I decided to try this other tool that's, I believe it's, well, I know it's not meant for this, it's meant for crimping for fence repair, and it was just enough just to really bite into these old screws, because I just said screw it, I don't care about the screws close to as much as I care about this. So now, fuck, I forgot I have to take these off still, and that's not gonna help. Let me see if I can find a Phillips head real quick, because I really want to get these off. Okay, I officially got tired of asking, so now I'm telling. As you can see, that worked very well. The screws weren't working. They were so rusted out that the top just kind of started falling apart, so I decided to switch to a drill bit. And this one actually, once I drilled in enough, this one actually just started reversing out when I switched it to backwards. So that was pretty cool. I didn't completely destroy, I was able to keep this perfectly intact and just kind of broke the screws apart enough to get this all apart. Super cool. Okay, that piece is off, which means I have that much more prep work to do. I guess I gotta pull the sander out again, even though I thought I was done with all this. Shit. Alright, that wasn't such a chore now, was it? Got this hand sanded with some 80 grit. Just kind of grabbed it and just sanded. I didn't want to pull the power sander out for this little piece of metal. I'm gonna hit down here after everything's done. I think I might do white down here or metal, I'm not sure yet, but really there's a whole lot of hand sanding I have to do down this whole strip, so I just kind of covered it for this main job. Later I'll fix it, but there's rust down here that needs to be rust reformered over. I'll just do that later, because right now I'm only focusing on above my finger. So once that's dry, we'll throw some primer on, we'll sand that, and then throw the rest of the chrome on. In the meantime, while that's drying, let's go ahead and wet sand the other side. All right, that is looking much better. I went ahead and wet sanded this like I said I was going to, and did one last coat over it just to get it real nice and uniform. It looks much, much, much better now. So we're gonna go ahead and start taping off the rest of the car. I'm gonna tape off, just kind of make one down there going all the way over, and then I'll do one for the bottom, one for the back, and then one over here on this side, one over here on the side. And then we're gonna lay primer down here. And after that's dry, wet sand it, lay the black down. But before we do that, then I have to do this one last strip of chrome to match the other side. And I think I have just about enough paint left for that. Let's get to it. All right, car is taped up sufficiently. Everything's covered up. I'll just pull your skirt back down, you're in public. Okay, so I've got this primered now. Should be dry. Yeah, it's dry enough. I'm gonna go ahead and wet sand this and put my phone on charge, and then we're ready to lay down the black. And then we're oh no, we're not finally done, because first I have to do the stupid chrome. I keep forgetting. Almost, we're getting there. It looks more like a window now, but some of the plastic, like as soon as I was ready to peel off, started sticking to that. So I might be able to wet sand it out. I might not. I don't know. Either way, it looks a lot better than before. All I got to do is that one stripe and we're done. So I'm just waiting on it's still a little tacky. Another big thing is a lot of the paint that was poorly done before just kind of came off with the painter tape. Like that right there. So I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it or if I'm going to touch it up. I'm really not sure. All I know is it looks okay right now. It certainly looks better than it did before. But I mean, there's some issues. Like, you can still kind of see, maybe not on camera, but you can kind of see where the triangle used to be, the whole piece. But from 5-10 feet away, it looks fine. Come on. Where are you? There you are. All right, we got all the corner lights permanently installed for one of the last times. I don't think I'll have to take them off for a long time now. I've also got, where are the mounting holes? There and there. I've got the little holes marked with Sharpie for the light bars on the back. So let's go ahead and drill those in, and then we'll just permanently mount both the light bars. I've also got one of the corner brackets already sanded it back down, primed it. It had some rust and everything because I didn't paint it right the first time. So did that from the start. So I'll go ahead and install those in a minute. 8 or 10 minutes just to do one side. That's tough. Don't build them like they used to. That's why I'm kind of weak. Here's a nice, easy DIY trick to repair poor bodywork. Just keep this little bit of portable paint and body shop around with you at all times, and just kind of do some of that. Where to put them bolts at? All right, that's the back done. Well, she looks nice, huh? All the lights fully mounted, well, 95% fully mounted for the first time ever. Roof done to a point where I'm actually happy with it for the first time ever. Windows actually turned out a lot better than I thought they would. Man, let's go find a good place to take some pictures with it. She's been running pretty good this weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't died a single time. I've been pretty easy on it, haven't done much with it, but man, it is running pretty good. Well, guys,
I just wanna be the one you love. I just wanna be the one you love.
I'm really sad. Pardon. Good night.